Hi there, it's Vicki Ross, and I'm here to work in my journal. Let's see if I can find something to prop her up with without breaking everything. Try not to ever work on a portrait. Laying flat. Actually, I like mine perpendicular to my eyes. But if I do that, y'all won't see it. So, I will sacrifice. And I put a little something under there to hold this up. Alright, what I have been doing... Water, that won't hurt, I don't think. This is the Dina Wakley Mixed Media Journal. And what I've been doing is just working ahead and putting distress oxides and paint colors and whatever, and then coming back and painting on top of whatever's there. On this page, I've got distress oxides in the background. I've got a stencil design by Patty Tolley Parrish. I've got some metallic of some sort. I do not remember what it is. And then yesterday I put 2 coats of matte medium. And I used the Deco Art matte medium in the media line. It's my favorite gesso, matte medium. So I put 2 coats of that on. And then I put alcohol ink to see if I could get a... Let me check my color. Oh, it's bright. See if that's better. To see what would happen. And I got a kind of alcohol inky background. And now I think I'll clear gesso. I think I will. First, in order to do that and use the background, I need to make sure that I'm only gessoing the parts of her that I want. Does that make sense? And so, all those little pieces of acetate that come in packaging and stuff, I use those. So we want her, let's see, why don't we just do this? I've kind of got an area in here that's lighter than the others, and I think that will be really nice. Let me fold this back out of the way. I should quit saying let me. I am going to fold that out of the way. So, perfect, right in there. She's just going to nestle right in that empty spot. And I think that will be perfect. So, what I use is a grease pencil. We used to call them grease pencils. What are they called now? China marker by Sharpie. This is the black one, and it is conveniently put into a Sargent's twist-up crayon. And when it comes down, all I have to do is twist it back up. See, it goes all the way down in here. So, it makes a great mark, and I can remove it with a wet wipe. And I'm just going to trace around her. All is fair. If you are practicing your drawing, then don't do this. If you are practicing your painting, this gets you on the road to it quicker. So, some of the finest portrait artists in the world use any kind of an aid they've got. because they're more interested in finishing the commission. Come on down. So as you mature as an artist or a painter, your skills and everything increase. And sometimes I just want to get to the painting. A lot of times I just want to get to the painting. But I have paid my dues on the practicing of the artwork too, or practicing of the drawing. Okay, we got that. Let's get her hairline. Alright. If you want to know any more about what I did on the ink, it's in a live video that I did on July 25th. And at the end of that video, I flipped over to this page and put the ink on. Okay, now then, you can see a little more clearly how we want her to be positioned. And I think that's good. Her hair come out back here. Alright, let me get my clear gesso. I use Liquitex because it has a grit. And I also use this for a ground for pastels too. I just use this, so it's a little bit damp, but I'm just going to hold it down. It dries clear. And all I'm concerned with is the face, the shape of the head. On the skin, I should say. This will help seal the ink. Not that I think it's going to need it, but the distress oxides have a way of bleeding through everything, which is fun. Yeah, I know. It's not your idea of fun. Make sure I put record on. I did. Now we're going to bring this on down. Just let that drift off into nowhere. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to put the brush in the water, and I'm going to get a wet wipe to clean off any of this I got on my acetate. And I'm going to do that over here. Not everything can be seen. Okay, I got it. Not everything can be seen on camera. So put that up, and then put this up. I just keep these little odd pieces around for a quick palette. I don't like using the dark black, the black ones, or the colored ones. I like either a clear or a white. So I'm going to dry this. Now what I did or what I have been doing is putting a layer, real thin layer of pale pink paint on here to help the color. And I think I'm going to do that with this too. This is a Portrait Pink from De La Rowney's Simply line. It's from Walmart. When you're just beginning painting, you'll find art snots like me who I'm bending down so I can hopefully see. Only use, I think I better get that back out. Only use artist quality paint. Is that it? Can't tell. Oops. I hate doing that to my brush. These have more binder, which means that they're thinner and they're perfect for this kind of thing. But you don't want a highly pigmented artist quality paint when you're just trying to do an underpainting to lightly cover up what's under it. Anyway, I don't like to get down in the ferrule. And that's what, this is the ferrule. The metal part that holds the brush together. Okay. Okay. Now then, come back in with a wet wipe. Don't put that away yet. Well, I thought I had overblown her forehead, but not so much. I was going to come in here and wipe that off right here. Now then, you see what we've done, right? Okay, now I wiped off just a little too much. There. That's good. Put the brush in the water. Sounds like a children's song. If you're happy and you know it, put your brush in the water. Okay, wipe off the back of your pattern. And you'll be using that as we go. This is what I do with the tube of paint that won't squirt anymore. I cut the top off of it and I put the end back in that opening, and then I can dip a paintbrush down in there and get the last drags, because there's quite a bit left in one of those. Okie dokie. Make sure you get the acrylic paint out of the ferrule, out of those hairs, because that's where your brushes start getting thick and they get hard. Just run your thumbnail down in there. And typically I do not mix my watercolor brushes with my acrylic. That one kind of sneaked by me. Okie dokie. Put the gesso away. Shut the door to the noisemakers. Now, this is Casein. Let me pull this up where y'all can see it. I know that some people really like to see the mixing process. There, you can see some of it. Now I'm going to dry it. I have been having a field day with Casein. It's one of the older art forms. Try to get that where you can see it. And what it is pigment, which is ground rocks or stones. I mean, really ground, like microscopic. And it's ground up and then mixed with what is called a medium to hold those particles together. So this one is Casein, and that is a milk product. Milk emulsion's what it's called. And I'm just going to work with, I know, it's scary, isn't it? If you're OCD, you won't like this part. I just use whatever's left. on my palette. And any red, yellow, and blue will make a good skin tone color. I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna because I want to come in with the darker colors. I use a wet wipe in my hand to clean off my brush without getting it too wet. It'll just, and then that way I can blend out these colors. Just like that. Now continuing on the dark, we come in under her mouth, in the side of her mouth, and she's got a and the upper lip is always in shadow unless you've got some kind of fancy lighting. And every once in a while I check my, so far so good. I check that because, like I said before, I'm not doing this to prove I can draw. I know I can draw. I'm painting shapes. And see right there by her nose, there's a triangle, kind of like a, what, parallelogram, is that what we called them in high school? And there's her brow bone. And forehead. And this then would be her eye. And then comes on down. Check it again. With an opaque medium, if you screw up, you can always fix it. If you're in watercolor, you can't. So easy. And I always work with a same size print for reasons like this. That's her nose, that's her eye. I check to make sure my angles are right and that my position is right. And then I want to blend out. And if I do need to get my brush a little wetter, I dip it in the water and then dry it off with my wet wipe. So far this is a pretty good barrier. Okay, now let's do a little bit on the ear. Just about like that. And it comes around like that. And then she has an earring. Okey-doke. Now then, this is almost dead in the center. Make sure I'm still in. I think I am. This is pretty much a mid-tone that I'm painting with. Not for any reason, it's just how I got started on this. And we come. I was going to do something else, but this caught my attention. And then look at there, we've almost got a always pay attention to your edges, because they're easier to fix now than they are. And I'm just going to pull that on up into the hairline. Pull this on down. Casein is permanent after it has cured. But before then, you can add it, especially on a slick surface like this. Now this would be a good time for another check. I've got her ear off. Ears are funny little things. Okay. Got a little bit of pink. No big deal. Alrighty. Trying to leave my whites. And just so I don't get confused, that's how easy it is to fix that. Let's see some more. Even after casein sets, they say, the experts say, that you can still get it up with ammonia. I don't know about you, but ammonia is not one of my favorites. We are looking good. That ear is going to give me problems, I just know it. Okay, we've got her going now. It's right there. Alright, I need a drink of water. Try to keep these videos at an hour. But if they go over, I'll either go over and ask forgiveness from the YouTube gods, which, you know, that's, algorithms are made to be broken. You know, they say right now that hour-long ones have a better chance of getting a lot of play. And in my package that is coming soon from Jerry's Artorama, let's see where the truck is. I'm watching the truck. Oh no, where did he go? There he is. And where am I? Okay, I'm down. He's still in the neighborhood, across in another area. Now, these Caseins are by Jack Richardson, and it's the old Shiva line, and they're about the only ones that provide paint already mixed. Over the ages, people have had to mix their own, and what they have to go through to get that milk emulsion is not anything that I want to do. Ordinarily, mixing a dark is as simple as your darkest red and your darkest blue and green. But these don't allow me to do that. Whoops. Whoopsie. My eye's way up here. still don't have it right. Little things like that can drive you crazy. That's why I just prefer to get them right with whatever tools that I have at hand. There, better. And I'm going to go ahead and get that nose hole in there. Nose holes are not black. And they're not nearly as dark as most people make them. Okay, and then her mouth is open. Watch how things line up. And yeah, check it again. Okay. Now I'm going to put some dark in the ear so that I don't lose it again. So the ear's down here. And ears don't get as much attention because they will steal the show if you get too carried away. But I do like to make sure I've got their placement correct. Oops. If I turn it that way, it's close. Alrighty. Now her skin has a very pale glow. And I'm going to add white to get that color. Now there's my red, yellow. enjoy it. Don't get in a big hurry. And I say that because I teach what I most need to learn. A damp brush, and I'm blending. I've done so many lives over the past few years. I keep wanting to look up and see what y'all are saying. It's a little bit dark. I need to mix up a little bit more. I've worked with gouache quite a bit, and of course watercolor. But the reason I like this is because it dries enough so that you can come back over it easily. And while the layers are not cured, they're still drier than if you were on in gouache. And the quickest to lift, I would say, in the category, first is watercolor. Second is gouache, and third is this. So, that means glazing is easier. I'm trying to make that just a little bit darker. I paint in pretty much every medium. So if you have any requests or questions of something that you would like to see, please let me know, and I will see if I can get it on the calendar. Which, since I'm the calendar, you know. Drink water. Okie doke. Where are we going now? We need some water. And I was really afraid this would be difficult to work with because I was afraid that the palette would dry out. Gouache dries out really bad. Cracks and breaks, and this doesn't. A little more red. Ears are reddish because they get a little bit of, I mean not a little bit, they get a lot of blood. If you have any experience at all of mixing color, I would advise buying the pre-mixed I'll get it out in a minute. Pre-mixed milk emulsion, casein emulsion. It's very inexpensive. I got like a quart for $15. And then use dry pigments to mix your own. I think you'll get a better concentration of pigment. And less expensive. This will probably be about all I do to the ear. I'll let that dry and then it'll get a light highlight. Let me double check. You can tell I do this a lot because I know how easy it is to get off. You can get one thing off and then you key off of that one thing enough and your whole thing will be messed up. Yeah, I need some of that reddish. Maybe not quite that much, but woo. Never go direct from your water to your painting. I'm just barely glazing over that darkish color. And I think what will happen is it will soften it just a little bit. Okay. We got the neck. Well, the neck is a pretty big part of it. Alright. Some of these darker colors out of the tube are real thick and rubbery. And I'll end up going back over places 3 or 4 times like I started with this shape right there. And this just pulls right on over. Wet brush and just let it. I think you just took it all off. And you want to bring it up here. And I think she needs her eyebrow to begin so it doesn't look like we're playing with a I've got kind of a dry brush because eyebrows are not painted on. I mean, they're not, you know what I mean. They're not a solid, they're on the skin. Now I'll let that dry and come back in with some of my light. Because this is a mixed media surface, you sometimes have to go over things 3 or 4 times to get them to build up to the surface that you want. In other words, even though I've got matte medium and a light coat of acrylic, it's still sinking. There are a million different ways to skin a cat, and the same holds for painting. You can mix the color that you want in your palette, or you can do kind of what I tend to do, is glaze and mix it on the painting. And right there where I wanted a little lighter, instead of pulling the red back, I'll come back on top of that with a lighter color, and that will help. I want a darker color in here. I don't know how long I've been filming, but it does not matter. Like I said, if it goes long, I'll just split it up. That's quite white. And that is too, but it won't remain white very long. I've got some luscious purple over here. Just for grins. Just for fun. This is where you try your ideas. Just add a little bit of this, that, and the other. And I want a little bit of blue to make a dark skin tone. some of this reddish purple. The purple really looks good there. Just took a little bit of that off. I get fairly quiet. A little more yellowish. If y'all are enjoying these, please like and subscribe. Because that's how I know what kinds of things you want to see. Alright, now let's do a little bit more on that eyebrow. Short strokes, not quite like that. Now come back into your skin color. Kind of feather it. And then come back to your darker color. Little plummy color.